Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Miami Comedy Podcast. It's the new year, it's 2026, and here in Miami, the difficulty level goes up on high whenever you try to keep your New Year's resolutions. And the reason why is because there's temptation everywhere. The nightlife is right around the corner, waiting for you to fuck up. There's lust, there's jealousy, there's envy, there's greed, and there's lots of alcohol. And let's face it, alcohol and nightlife and bad bitches everywhere is a cocktail of destruction when it comes to keeping your goals. So I'm making this podcast episode for all the locals in Miami that want to keep their New Year's resolutions, because I don't have to wait for the New Year's to do any of my goals. I try to get started as soon as possible because I know I'm going to fuck up. That's the thing that a lot of people don't talk about. The part where you fuck up. How many influencers do you see that all they do is talk about their accolades, what they've won, what they've done, how they did it, how great of a job they do? It sounds vain. They never talk about all those times that you gotta fuck up to get there. And so when you live in Miami, I'm already prepared to fuck up, but I've already been fucking up. I didn't have to wait till midnight last night to know that. So if you can relate to what I'm talking about, that the difficulty level to keep your goals intact, especially when you're a local in Miami and all the temptations that are around you, it can be difficult out there. Okay, so the number one thing you got to realize is the people you surround yourself with, the people that you spend a lot of time with, all those commitments, you got to know which ones don't serve you anymore. And you got to do things like the Miami exit. Now, you've heard of the Irish exit. And the Irish exit is when you say that you're going to leave. Well, no, you don't even say you're going to leave. You just leave. And no one even knows where you went. They just look around and they realize that you're gone. Well, the Miami exit is you say you'll be there, but you just don't show up at all. And this has worked for me so well because in Miami, we're already flaky as it is. And it's kind of like the culture when you don't show up. It's normal behavior. So I realized that whenever you make a commitment to go somewhere, to pull up, it's expensive. And if you look at the costs of driving there, doing whatever plans you had when you meet whoever the person is, when you stay at home, you're really compounding interest. You're not spending any money, you're not spending any time, you're not spending any effort. And if you do the Miami exit long enough, where you say you're going to go and you don't show up, eventually those people that want you to make those commitments will stop inviting you out in the first place. So you never even get the invite anymore. And the next thing you know, you cut them off, or they've cut themselves off because you're just way too flaky. So when it comes to surrounding yourself with the right people, you got to make sure that you exit the commitments that you don't want to be a part of anymore. And you can do that by following through with the Miami exit. The next thing you can do that allows you to exit very well, and Miami has taught me this as well, is what I call the calendar exit. And then what you say is you don't say that I can't make it tonight. You immediately say that you can't make it for the whole month. Hey, why don't you come out and have a few drinks? I don't know, man. January is a weird month for me. Things get wild. I don't know what to expect. It's a new year. It's just that January just isn't looking good. And if they insist and try again, let's say a couple of weeks down the line, you can just say, February, man, February, Valentine's Day, people are going out. I don't think I can go out in February, man. It's expensive. A lot of restaurants, they get full. I kind of don't want to just go out. I don't want to go outside. And then bam, next thing you know, March comes around. And if you're locked in, if you really want to make sure you follow through with your plans, March is the one that's going to test you with the calendar exit, because that's ultra. Okay? And if your plans are still followed through while ultra is around and you're not going outside, you mean that. Your New Year's resolutions are on track. Okay? So discipline hack. If you plan to follow through on your New Year's resolutions, you got to do the calendar exit January, February, and if you can do it all March long, even past March, even past ultra, you're already there. You're in the pocket of following through because that's already a quarter of the year where you're canceling plans. You're not doing anything and you're staying in. Okay? And sure, there's some people that you're going to just have to do it directly. Maybe sometimes exiting for the entire month, or, maybe you think that being too flaky is a little weird. Here's what I call the pre-exit compliment. If you want to cut ties with people, don't just ghost. Sometimes that could be a little basic. That's not very polite, where you just ignore somebody and ghost. So what you want to do is you want to emotionally prepare them of your disappearance. And this is what I call the pre-exit compliment. Okay. And then what you want to do is you want to say something unusually nice. And the reason this works is, let's say if the last time a person saw you, they saw that you said something that they're going to remember as the last memory they had of you. And you could say something like, you go to their birthday party and you could say, you're such a fantastic person. Congratulations on your X birthday, or whatever age they're. I really wish you the best on your next year. Something really nice, but also it kind of like, it sticks out as different. And then what's going to end up happening is when you disappear from those people's lives, they're not going to focus so much on the fact that you ghosted them, but focus more on what you said last. That was a very kind thing that he said before he disappeared out of my life forever. Okay? The pre-exit compliment works like a charm right before you're about to ghost, because that right there is a really sweet and thoughtful way to disappear off somebody. All right? So another thing I like to do also is like I try to assess if it's worth it based on the parking. So for example, if wherever I gotta go, I need to pay for parking, I convince myself it's not worth it. Like if I gotta go to Wynwood and somebody says, hey, meet me here in Wynwood, I was like, oh, I gotta pay for parking. I really don't have to go, right? And if even worse, if it requires valet, for a fact that I'm overcommitting. Hey, why don't you come meet me at Soho Beach House and pay for valet? I'm good. Now, if wherever that you got to go doesn't require that you have to pay for parking, now there's an alignment right there. Okay, maybe it's somebody's house. Hey, man, why don't you come over and let's do some grilling? All right. Don't got to pay for parking. That's aligned with my goals. And then guess what? When you pull up, you're just building relationships, especially somebody that knows how to grill. That's a win-win in 2026 in my book. So that's the parking commitment test. You assess the situation based on how parking is. Now, I don't know about you guys, but in 2026, I plan to be a morning person. And I've been trying to do this for a while now, where I'm trying to wake up early. It's difficult. Here's a couple of things that I've been doing that have been helping me in my journey of being a morning person. The first thing is, my morning rule from now on is if it can't be done before 10:30 a.m., it's not happening. After that, Miami makes everything a side quest. You want to go out and do some errands, then next thing you know, you're out to brunch. You're out at brunch, and then I'm just going to have a drink real quick. And then a drink real quick is you blacking out for the remainder of the day. And then you're just day drunk. And then you might even follow through and go to a bar that night as well. I'm telling you, if you want to be a morning person, you got to do all the important things at 10:30. And if anything else wants to make you commit after 10:30 in the morning, don't commit. It's not happening. Because in Miami, anything bad that can happen will happen after 10:30 in the morning. All right. And also another thing is, I do non-negotiables during rush hour. All right. If something must be done during the morning rush hour or afternoon rush hour, I'm going to have to cancel, big dog. I'm not going to do it. Hey, can you meet me at 8 a.m. at so-and-so place? Nope. That's my blackout schedule. All right. If you need me, we can do an email or a Zoom meeting, but I'm not going to go into traffic to meet nobody. Non-negotiable in 2026. All right. If you need me physically there, if you need a physical interaction during rush hour, whether it be the morning or in the afternoon, you need to come to me. All right. No more rush hour scheduling in 2026. Also, another thing you can do to be a morning person is just pull an all-nighter. I don't know if you guys ever done this before, but sometimes when you can't fall asleep, the best thing to do is not fall asleep at all. Why wait for the sleep to come around when you got to wake up in 2 hours? Push through it and watch how quickly your body wants to adapt. As soon as the sun comes up and realizes that it didn't sleep, your body knows it fucked up. Pull an all-nighter. Stay awake for 24 hours and watch that circadian rhythm get reset like a motherfucker. That's one of the things that I do. If I ever get out of whack with my scheduling when it comes to sleep, if I'm waking up way too late in the day or going to sleep way too late at night, I just don't go to sleep. And my body feels that shit. My body wants to make sure that doesn't happen again. And it's been behaving. And even if it does get out of whack, I remind it, hey, don't forget, we could pull an all-nighter. All right? Mind over body. And then your body's like, no, we'll go to sleep. Pull an all-nighter if you want to reset your sleeping schedule. It's probably one of the fastest ways to make sure that you go to bed on time because your body needs it. But if it's staying up all night, sometimes you need to remind it that it needs it, you know? And in 2026, you also got to make sure you focus a lot more. And one of the most underrated functions that your phone has that I've done, I would say for like the last 6 months in 2025, and I'm going to follow through in 2026, is putting my phone on Do Not Disturb. Why are there so many people not using this function? My phone is on DND 24/7 since like April of last year. Oh my God, what a life hack Do Not Disturb mode is. No one is going to text you. And if they do, you could take your sweet time texting them back. And I'm talking about pastelito sweet because they see it. They try to send you a message, do not disturb, and you're still going to send me a message? You know damn well I'm not going to respond at an appropriate amount of time. I'm going to disappear, and I'll come back around to your text, especially if it's a text that's not important. Hell no. You're not even going to get a response, big dog. The response was already there before you even said it. Do not disturb. And if people have an emergency, they got to call you. Because no one calls anymore unless, you know, it's like something urgent, right? And even then, do not disturb won't let it go through. So that urgency is you're living a stress-free life when that urgent phone call does not come through. Why are you going to add stress in your life? Do not disturb all 2026 and watch your focus come back fast as fuck. You're gonna save so much time and effort just by having that DND sign 24/7 on your phone. From now on, your phone is do not disturb, and watch your life immediately get better with your focus. And what's the next thing that robs you from your focus? Social media. So what have I been doing? I've been muting all temptations on social media. My timeline is boring as hell right now. If you post a thirst trap, you know, I'm not going to do anything weird like unfollow you, right? Because if we're like mutuals and, you know, you're somebody that, you know, you're putting lust out there, you're trying to get people turned on or whatever, I'm not going to unfollow you, you know. But what I will do is I'll mute your account. That way your temptations, your succubus ways are muted from my feed. And you can do that for just about anything that tries to tempt you out of your focus, right? Not just thirst traps. It could be like your favorite bar. Hey, we got happy hour. $5 shots and $3 margaritas. Now, muted. I don't need to be reminded how amazing your deals are right now. Hey, we got so-and-so DJ coming out. Look at all these photos of beautiful women. You could dance with them. No, not going to that. Muted. Yes, right now my timeline is mostly just motivational quotes and recipes to cook at home. And you know what? I feel like I'm winning because my temptation has gone down extremely low to the point where I don't want to go out no more. Like there's nothing enticing on my timeline that makes me want to get in my car and go. Usually it was hot girls or maybe like a band or a DJ that I really like. But if that stuff doesn't show up no more, out of sight, out of mind. Okay. And that goes, that helps you out with things like money. You save money if you don't go out. Miami's expensive. If you pull up anywhere in Miami, you're spending money. All right. And it's difficult. So, of course, you're going to fuck up. Like I mentioned earlier, the thing is, like when you do fuck up, the power of balance can really make a difference, especially when it comes to your money. So, what you can do is, like, if you make a mistake and you spend a lot of money, let's say you go out in a fancy restaurant, you spend, $100 for dinner or whatever. You then got to balance it the next day. So, like, you go to a fancy restaurant, you know, you want to dine out, you spend $100 on dinner for yourself. Then the next day, you cook at home, right? So now you've got two contrasts where you spend a lot of money and you made yourself something to eat at home. Now, the next day, the balance between those two is going to be you're going to get Uber Eats. All right, but here's the thing. Uber Eats then becomes the thing that replaces splurging at a fancy restaurant. So now you've got to balance between Uber Eats and cooking at home. All right, so then you go to the next thing to balance. Cooking at home with really good ingredients that are expensive and eating out of a tuna can. All right, hear me out. Now, all the money that you want to be spending starts tapering off. Because now the goal, or rather the thing that you really enjoy, is cooking at home. And if you really want to take it up an extra notch, just don't eat for the whole day. And then now it becomes eating out of a can or fasting. You see how it works? The power of balance between two extremes makes you save money. And you just start tapering off those luxurious splurging moments. So you go from going out to eat to Uber Eats to cooking at home to eating from a can to fasting. Right? Now the extremes aren't so extreme. Now you're just in a nice little realm of routine when it comes to eating, between fasting and eating out of a can. And then the occasional cooking at home. Because once you start handling all that stuff where you want to go out and you want to spend money and that no longer becomes a temptation, your year is going to be amazing. You're going to be saving a lot of money, saving a lot of time. And when you budget in Miami, if you really want to be an effective budgeter, one of the things that I've done that has helped me last year is you don't budget with expenses. You don't track expenses. What you do is you track regrets. All right? If I go out drinking and, I'm buying everybody drinks, I'm buying shots, I'm getting all fucked up, I'm singing karaoke. If the next morning I wake up with a hangover and, somebody's got me on their stories, fucking up the lyrics to a song, now I'm tracking the regret of this hangover and I look at my bank account and I can't believe I spent $300 on buying the whole bar shots. I look at that, I put it on the budget. No more going out and doing this shit because you're fucking up. And in Miami, it works like a charm because sure, you could track expenses. Sure, you can say you should get this, that, or the other. But if you track regrets, you're going to remember that. Remember that time you fucked up the lyrics to the song and you signed up like 5 different times? You stayed out till 5 a.m, you bought everybody shots? That's off the budget. Cross it off the budget. Can't do that no more. Because here's the thing, like being bored is the way to become rich. You got to be able to be bored with yourself. Because being bored is such a bad rep, man. Everybody is just spending money to avoid being bored. If you don't do a goddamn thing, you're becoming rich. You know how they say that you should put your dollars to work to get rich? Well, you should be doing nothing to get rich. It works. I'm telling you, it's not that complicated. Most people don't spend money because they want things. They just want to spend money because they don't want to be by themselves. Like you got to run away from something by spending money. It's like, oh my God, am I by myself right now? Am I not enjoying my own company? I better go outside and get fucked up and socialize and talk to strangers. I'm telling you, If you want to make money in 2026, just stay home. Everybody you know that's having fun is a little stressed financially. I guarantee it. Because there's no way that having fun all the time is making you financially disciplined. All right? The bill will always show up later. And when you're bored, there's no, I'll take care of this. You're handling it right now by staying in, sitting on the couch, and doing absolutely nothing. I'm telling you, boredom has a bad reputation. As a 40-year-old man, do you know how amazing it is to have a flex like that? Somebody comes up to you and says, hey, man, what's up with you? Nothing. Fuck yeah, bro. Boredom is the path to get rich. Embrace it in the city of Miami. And now let's get into health. If you want to be healthy in Miami, skip the gym membership. You'll work out a lot more if you buy yourself a home gym. All you need is some dumbbells and a bench, and you're already halfway there. All you got to do is just lift, right? Because when you get a gym membership, you're wasting time, money, because you got to drive to the gym. All right? Think of the traffic. Then once you get there, you got to make sure it's within their operating hours. And there's no long-term contract bullshit that these gyms do, right? You try to cancel early, they don't let you, whatever the fuck. But here's the thing. If the membership is too low, the place is a mess. It's almost like a fight broke out there. And I've done a lot of gym memberships. If the membership price is too high, what ends up happening is everybody there is shooting content. Because you know, what are you going to do? You're going to post content at a messed up gym? No, you want to post content at those fancy gyms. So work out at home, and you're going to see that you're spending your time a lot more effectively lifting those weights. Right? When you don't go to the gym and you can't take your time when you go to the gym, and no one's going to be asking you like, oh, hey, how many reps you got left? Can't you see I'm posting my workout on social media? You could take your time if you got a home gym. I'm telling you, skip the gym membership. And another thing you can do is you get a walking pad. Why go outside? Sometimes it could be way too hot. Sometimes you don't even want to see your neighbors when you go out for a jog or a walk. I think that's one of the many reasons why a lot of people don't do cardio. Is because you're going outside can be such a burden, right? You got to wave at people you don't want to wave at. You got to walk on the sidewalk. People honking, people looking at you. You want to be recognized while you're trying to lose weight? Forget all that. Get a walking pad. It's probably one of the best investments that I've made in 2025. If you get a walking pad, you'd be surprised how many activities you can do while you're walking. You could be working at your desk on a walking pad. You could be cooking, doing the dishes on a walking pad. You could be playing video games on a walking pad. You could watch your favorite Netflix show on a walking pad. Hell, you can even be having sex on a walking pad. All right, and that's double the calories right there, because if you're giving back shots while you're on a walking pad, not only are you burning extra calories, but it's also quite impressive. All right? You won't even feel it as it's happening. A walking pad has definitely helped my health journey in 2025, and it's going to continue in 2026. And here's the thing. If you really want to be healthy, you got to start considering sobriety. Now, don't worry about it. I'm not going to impose this on anybody. All right? But if you really think about it, alcohol messes up your wallet, your health, and even your relationships. Do you know how many people have started a family with the wrong person because of a night of drinking? Fucked up their entire lives just because they had one extra margarita that night. Did you know that? There's so many people out there that have ruined their lives with alcohol. And I don't mean alcoholism. I just mean you took one shot, then you decided to buy everybody shots, and what happened to those $300? You could have put it on Bitcoin. Now you got a fatty liver because you enjoy the happy hour in your neighborhood bar. Or now you started a family with somebody because you decided to go to that bar that one time on a random Wednesday. Alcohol messes up more lives than you think. And it's not something that you got to go to Alcoholics Anonymous for. Now, I'm not perfect. I love drinking. To this day, I still love drinking. But I've also experimented with sobriety. All right. And here's what I've learned about sobriety. Those are the years where I've lost the most weight, I've made the most money, and I've woken up early as hell. But here's the thing. I'm bored as fuck when I'm sober. My sex life sucks. Not hooking up as much, but that could be a good thing, right? So here's the thing. If you really want to experiment with sobriety, the hardest part, especially living in Miami, is that everybody will be giving you social pressure to drink because, we're a very nightlife cultured city. So if you say, I'm not drinking, people are going to wonder why. Like, why? Why aren't you? What happened? Or what did you do? Like, immediately people think you're a felon if you're sober. Right? So if you announce it, people are just going to give you more pressure to break, right? So the best excuse that I've come up with that works like a charm, if you ever want to practice sobriety and avoid the social pressures, is I'm on medication. Oh, it works like a charm. No one's going to mess with that. Hey, man, let's do some shots. I can't. I'm on medication. They're going to leave you alone. But here's the thing. A lot of time is going to pass, and then they're going to realize that you're still using that excuse. Hey, man, you've been on medication for like a year already. I just want to keep my health private, all right? I'm going through something. You say it like that, like, oh, man, do you got a timer? Is it terminal? Are you really, really that sick? I just want to have my private time with my health. I'm on medication. I can't drink. Okay, nothing shows more power than somebody leaving the party early to avoid drinking. I'm telling you, man, you feel like you're a rock star when you're, getting drinks and hanging out with people, but you'll feel even more of a rock star when people look around. It's like, hey, where's Manny? Oh, no, he's not drinking. He left. Damn, that's powerful. That's right. And the reason why people like drinking is because they don't want to experience FOMO, the fear of missing out. But when you're sober for a prolonged period of time, I think after the 4th month is when you start experiencing POMO, proud of missing out. I've been there. It's hard to get there. But I think once you get on the 4th month beyond, it gets a lot easier because you kind of forget what it's like and you kind of don't want to, because when you're really, really sober, you look at other people that are drunk and you say, I don't want to be like that. But when you're not used to it, you look at other people drunk and you're like, man, that looks fun. You know what I mean? So practice with sobriety and watch your health, your wealth, and your relationships get a lot better in 2026. All right, there you have it. That's the Miami Comedy Podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. We do this every single week. Shows, if you want to go to a live show, we've got 2 great relationships. We've got Blackbird Ordinary Tuesdays and Saturdays, and we've got Thank You Miami Mondays and Fridays. If you want to see me perform, if you want to see some local comedians perform, hell, if you want to come out and try out an open mic and see what it's like to be funny on stage, come out to one of our shows. Don't forget to visit miamicomedy.com and sign up to the VIP texting group. That's right. We've got a big community of people that get hooked up with preferred seating and complimentary drinks on us. All you got to do is visit miamicomedy.com and sign up to the VIP membership group and watch you experience live stand-up comedy in a completely different way. All right? We'll be on a talking basis if you sign up. The way it works is like this. Once you do sign up, it's only one price a month. You get access to our VIP texting group, and you let me know when you want to come out to a show. And then you get on the guest list, and then once you do show up, you get hooked up with drink perks and a good seating spot. All right? That's it, everybody. I'll see you on the next episode of the Miami Comedy Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.